Today we're going to be working on a solo arrangement of Megalovania from the hit video game Undertale. Special thanks to Robert for sponsoring this video. This is a really difficult song, but it's super fun to play. If you'd like to download a tab to follow along as we're working with this, check out my Patreon page where this tab is completely free. It's posted right down below, so click that, download that PDF before we get started, and let's go ahead and dive into Megalovania, starting with the opening riff, which is challenging, but it's not as challenging as some of the other parts. So it's really important with this that you're playing a high G ukulele, because we're going to be making a lot of use of this high G string. To start here, we're going to play open on the E string twice, and I like to use my thumb to play that. Then we're going to play 7 on the A, and I like to use my middle finger with my plucking hand and my pinky finger with my fretting hand for that note. So it goes. Then I'm going to move my index finger on my playing hand all the way down to my 2nd fret of my A string. And then I'm going to play that A string. And then I'm going to play 3 on the G string. So I'm going to take my middle finger, place it here on the 3rd fret of the G string, pluck that with my thumb. Then I'm going to play open on the A, open on the G, open on the E, open on the G again, and open on the A. So it starts with this sort of big stretch, but then it uses open strings to really create a nice tone for it. So it looks like this, the first measure. Now, as we go on to the second measure, it's more of the same, just the first 2 notes are different. This time what we're going to do is we're going to take our index finger and we're going to place it on the 2nd fret of the C string. We're going to pluck the C string now twice. But then everything else is exactly the same. So the 2 on the C is effectively replacing the 0 on the E. We're going to stretch our pinky up to 7, then index to 2, then middle at 3, open, 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 open. So that measure. Now what you'll notice is there are those little rest markers written on the PDF. Those are meaning that we want the note to stop ringing. So what I do there is I just release the pressure and sort of touch my hand across the strings to create that muted sound. To create that type of vibe. If that's too challenging, don't worry about it. That can come later. At first, just focus on getting the right notes at the right time. The next measure here, measure 3, is exactly the same as 1 and 2, only now we're going to play 1 on the C string with our index finger twice to start it all. So this is a bit of a jump, playing 1 twice. Then we have to jump our pinky up to 7, and then the same deal. And then measure 4 is even easier yet, because we're now going to play open on the C string to start it. Exact same thing. And you'll notice at the end of measure 4, it actually repeats. So we're going to play measures 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then repeat them. Honestly, this is the most fun part of the song, and the most iconic part of the song. And some of you might only learn this, and that's okay, because this is what I kind of sit and jam on for a while. So I'm going to play it really slow so that you can see. I'm going to give you a couple points of feedback as you're working on it, but it should sound something like this. And then it repeats. So that's it with the repeat. Now, when you're working on this, it's really important to get really good at predicting where your fingers should go. And what that means is we start here at 7, but when I play the 7, I'm looking at fret 2 on the A string, because the next note I'm going to play is this index finger down here. And even if I can't make that stretch, I'm looking at 2 so that I can diminish the amount of time it takes to take this pinky off and put this finger on. So by the time I'm playing 7, I'm looking at 2, getting ready for that. And then once I play 2, I'm looking at 3 on the G with the middle finger. And then after I do that, I'm thinking 0. Thinking 0 on the A, 0 on the G, 0 on the E, 0 on the G again, and 0 on the A again. So it's all about getting comfortable with those predictive motions, developing the muscle memory for it so that you get a really good, consistent tone as you're going through it. So that's the first part of the song. We're going to play through it twice, and now we're going to go on to the next part here on measure 5. So what we're going to do to start with measure 5 is we're going to play an E minor, but we only need to fret the C string on the 4th fret and the E string on the 3rd fret. We're going to use our ring and middle fingers for that. I'm going to pluck all 3 strings. I like to use my G, my thumb on my G, index on my C, and my middle here on the E, and play all 3 at the same time. Then I'm going to pluck the G string, or excuse me, the E string, then the G string, then the E string again, then the G string again, then the E string again. So it goes. And then I'm going to play the C string, and then I'm going to take the E string off, so it's open on the E, and play that. So that sounds like. And then as we go on to measure 6, I'm going to move down now to 0, 2, 3 with my middle finger here on the 2nd fret of the C string, and my ring finger going to the 3rd fret of the E string. Pluck the G, C, and E together, and then 3 on the E, open on the G, then open on the A. Then I'm going to take my index finger and place it on one of the A, and then open on the A. Take my my ring finger off of the fretting hand to play open on the E, and open on the G, then open on the A. So those 2 measures are something like this. As we go on to measure 7, I'm going to fret 1 on the C string with my index finger and 3 on the E string with my ring finger. Play the 3 on the E, open on the G, open on the A, then 1 on the A with my middle finger coming down, then 2 on my A string with my middle finger coming up. Then I'm going to slide my pinky up to 5 on the A, and then I'm going to slide my index up to 4 on the G. Whew, that measure is a bit of a doozy. So looking at it again, it goes. Now the reason I'm crossing my index finger here is the next measure on measure 8, I'm going to slide my pinky up to 7 on the A and play all open with it, followed by the 7 on the A 2 more times. And then the index is going to play 4 on the G, then 7 on the A again. And then I'm going to slide that down to 5 on the A, play that note, and complete this measure by leaving the pinky there and adding the index barred all the way across the 2nd fret for that D chord. So that measure 8 is something like this. And so that you can hear it, here's measures 5, 6, 7, 8 for that whole stanza on the tab. Should be something like this, really, really slow. Now as we go on to measure 9, a little bit more of the same. You'll notice that measure 9 is actually exactly the same as measure 5. So it goes exactly the same. But then as we go on to measure 10, it goes a little bit different. And this was the part, to be honest, measures 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 were the hardest in the song for me to practice. They are the ones that I spent the most time on when I was trying to get the performance video. So just be kind of aware of that as we're working through it, that this is the hard part. So at measure 10, I'm going to go to the 0, 2, 3. So middle finger here on 2 of the C, ring finger here on 3 of the E. I'm going to play the G, C, and E together. Then I'm going to play open on the G, 3 on the E, open on the G. Then I'm going to play open on the E, so I take my ring finger off. Then I'm going to take this index finger here, I'm going to cross it up to 4 on the G string, and then pinky goes to 7 of the A string, and then 4 on the G again, and then open on the A. So that measure is something like this. And then from here, we're going on to measure 11. This is a fun measure, but it's really hard. You're going to take your index and you're going to move it down to 3 on the E string. You're going to play your 0 on the C, 0 on the G, 0 on the C, 0, and 3 on the E all together. That was a little bit of a mouthful. Just those top 3 strings. You're going to play those twice. And And then you're going to do this little run. We're going to play open on the G, open on the E, open on the G, play open on the A. And then you're going to hammer on to 1 on the A with the index finger, and then pull off to 0 on the A, and open on the G, and 0 on the E. So that sounds something like this. It goes. And then as we go on to measure 12, it's going to continue some of this sort of crazy riff by playing 1 on the A with the index, do a pull off to open on the A, and then open G, followed by a D chord twice. And to play this, we want to take just our index finger and bar it across the 2nd fret of the G, C, and E strings coming off before the A. So you'll notice that I like to put my E string there right into this little divot so that I can raise my finger off and get that good connection so that my A string rings open. I'm going to play that D chord twice. And then to finish that measure, I'm going to then collapse that so it's barred all the way across 2 and play 2 on the A string twice. So measure 12 is something like this. And so that you can hear it, here's measures 9, 10, 11, 12. Should be something like. So that little line is really tough, but when you get the muscle memory, it feels so good. It's so much fun to play. But now as we go on to measure 13, it really gets crazy here at 13. This is the hardest part, and I have to say it's also the most fun. Took a while to practice though. We're gonna start with this weird chord. It's 0-4-0-5. So we're gonna take our ring finger, place it on 4 of the C, and our pinky here on 5 of the A. We're gonna strum through all 4 strings or pick them, whatever we want to do. And then we're going to start the craziest line of the whole song. We're going to then play our pinky off. We're going to add our index finger here on 2 of the A, play that. And then we're going to slide it down to 1 on the A and then open on the A. So we're going to slide it straight down. And then we're going to play the open G. And then we're going to play 4 on the C, which our ring finger's already there. And we're going to slide that up to 6 on the C. And we're going to play open on the G. So let's just talk about that little line a few times, right? So we're going to start with the 0-4-0-5, ring finger and pinky. We're going to strum through. And 2 on the A, slide to 1, slide to open, open on the G, 4 on the C, slide up to 6 on the C, open on the G. So it looks something like. And then we're going to play open on the A. And then we're going to play 4 on the G with our index finger. And then our middle finger is going to play 5 on the A. And that completes that measure. The hardest measure of the whole song, no contest. So let's try that again a couple times. It looks like this. One more time there. Now I'm playing it really slow. I'm playing it less than half speed. And yeah, it tells you how quick that goes. But when you develop the muscle memory, it really works. It sounds good and it feels good under the fingers. But after we play that 4 and then that 5, it's going to go to measure 14 now. And we're going to play an E flat chord. To do this, we take our index, bar it all the way across the 3rd fret, add the 6th fret with our pinky on the A string. We're going to pluck the G, C, and A strings. If you accidentally hit the E string in there too, it's okay, but it sounds best when it's just the G, C, and A strings. And we're going to play the G string again. And then we're going to play the G string another time, but then we're going to follow it immediately with the open A. So to do this, what we do is we take our pinky off, and we make this chord on 3, sort of like we did the D chord earlier. Remember when I mentioned putting it in that sort of divot to raise off? We're going to go from that to get that open A. And then after we do the open A, we take everything off, play the open on the G. And we go to an F chord. Just simply add your index finger on 1 of the E string, play your C, E, and A together, and do that a second time. So measure 14 is something like this. And so that you can hear it, here's 13 and 14, which again is the hardest part of the song, kind of starting with 11, 12, 13, 14. This is the crazy part. So 13 sounds something like this. Now, once you're through that part, we enter the strumming section. So if you're more comfortable with picking, this earlier sections might be a little bit easier, but if you're more comfortable with strumming, this might be a lot of fun for you. We're going to start by playing open on the G, C, and E strings, and then we're going to play 2 on the E string with our index, and then open on the G. And as we do this open on the G, we're going to slide our hand up, because the very next chord is going to be 0, 0, 0, 10, so you want your pinky here on 10 of the A. So when you're playing this, you use that open G to facilitate the hand to move up. Otherwise, you're going to be doing this. And that's no good. Then you're going to move down to 9 on the A. And then you're going to move to 7 on the A. And what I like to do for fingering here is I like to play 10 with the pinky, and then 9 with the ring finger, and then 7 with the index finger. The next part here is going to play a kind of crazy chord progression. Take your middle finger, place it on 6 of the C, index finger on 5 of the E, and pinky here on 9 of the A. Strum your C, E, and A. If you hit the G string in there too, it's no big deal. It sounds a little dissonant, but it's all okay. Then we're going to move our index to bar across 9 on the C, E strings and add our middle finger here on 10 of the A for the second chord. And then, leaving our index where it is, we're going to take our middle, move it up to 10 on the E, and take our pinky and add it on 12 of the A. And then the last note of that measure is 9 on the A, so we just bar with our index there, take our pinky off, and play that note. So 15 and 16 sound something like this. You can hear it's this nice ascent, and then descent, and then ascent. It's just a cool sound. Play that 9 on the A to finish it. So now we really enter true strumming. You'll notice on the tab, there are all these weird markers on there. We've got this little 3/4 of a box and this little V. This is symbolizing strum markers. When you see the little 3/4 box, that means a downstroke. So you're going to be moving your hand downwards. And when you see the V, that's an upstroke, moving your hand upwards. I've actually done a course that talks about strumming in detail. And the technique that's used here is not an easy one, but it's a really fun one. It's called ghost note strumming. If you'd like to download the course where I teach this technique in its entirety, check out the link down in the description below. There's actually a coupon code if you want to buy the bundle. I appreciate any of the support. It's a fun course that I did with Ukulele Underground. But enough about that. Let's talk about what we should do to play this. We're going to start with 011, 014, which is a really cool E minor chord. Take our middle finger, place it on the 11th fret of the C string, and take your pinky finger and place it on the 14th fret of the A string. And the first thing we're going to do there is strum with our thumb. You'll notice there's no strum marker written on the tab. Now we're going to do a strum pattern, and this is a crazy strum pattern using this ghost note technique. So again, if you're not familiar with ghost note strumming, check out the stuff down linked below. But essentially what's happening is we're going to be replacing some of our downstrokes with our thumb, tapping our high G. So the pattern here, what ends up happening is as we go through with the thumb, we're then going to do a down strum, followed by miss coming back up. And then we're going to do a ghost note, up, ghost note, up, ghost note. And then we're going to miss coming back up and go down, up, down, up. So that sounds something like this. So when we're working on this, it's really important to identify that your hand's always going to be moving down and up. And if you see 2 downstrokes in a row, it means that you're going to have to miss coming up before you get back into that downstroke. But again, a lot more links to strumming work is down below. So if you're struggling with this rhythm and don't know where to go, check it out. So measure 17 is something like this. And then 18, it's going to go to an E flat chord. Take your index finger, bar across the 3rd fret, add the pinky on 6 of the A, do a down strum, miss coming back up, then a ghost note, miss coming back up, then another down strum, miss coming back up, another ghost note, And then this is a really fun part. We're going to do an up strum here. And when we would be missing back down, we're going to slide our hand up so that we move up to fret 5 with the bar and 8 with the pinky to create this really cool sound like that. And then we're going to finish off that measure with an up, down, miss, down, up, down, up. So the whole rhythm of that measure sounds something like this. Pretty sweet. Now we go on to measure 19, which is really a continuation of the strumming part. We're going to play a C chord, everyday C. Use your index finger though on the 3 of the A. And we're going to do a downstroke, followed by a miss, then a ghost note, followed by a miss coming up, another downstroke, miss coming up, then a ghost note, up strum, ghost note, up strum, downstroke, miss, downstroke, miss, and then the last downstrum of the whole thing, we're going to move our pinky all the way up to 10 on the A. Play that. So that rhythm is something like this. Down, miss, ghost, miss, down, miss, ghost, up, miss. And then we go on to 20, and this is the biggest stretch of the song. So I'm going to give an alternate in the event that this is too big of a stretch, but I really recommend working on it just because it's such a fun, cool sounding stretch. What it is 9 on the A string, with a bar across 2, which just sounds insane. But I guarantee you can do it. I've had students with itty bitty hands do stretches that make me sweat. So it's really, it's kind of like yoga for the fingers. You can do it. It just might take a lot of practice. What I like to do to practice this is if you're struggling with this bar going all the way across, is start somewhere where you don't struggle, like barring across 6 or 5, and gradually work on moving your bar downward. One thing to make this bar across 2 with 9 easier is to alter the way that you do the bar. If you look at my index finger, it's not barred straight across like this. It's actually tilted off to the side with most of the fretting occurring on the side of the finger. This is the trick for me to be able to do really big stretches. In fact, while this is a big stretch, I can actually go up to 12. I wouldn't say comfortably, but I can go up to 12 using the same sort of concept. And so it's just a matter of getting that flexibility over time. Now, if you can't get this chord, another one that you can play is 0, 9, 10, 9, which is like a G chord moved all the way up with your middle finger here, or excuse me, your index finger here on 9 of the C, ring on 10 of the E, and middle here on 9 of the A. So if you're really struggling with the big stretch, you can do this instead. But let's go and do it with the stretch. And then when we're on this chord here, we're going to do a down on it, followed by a down, miss, ghost, up, and then we're going to do a miss, up, ghost, up, down, up, ghost, up. But what happens is we're going to be switching the chord halfway through. So it starts with a 9 and goes down, down, ghost, and then we're going to slide it down to 7 on the A string for those following strums. So we're going to then do the up, followed by miss, and then up, ghost, up, down, up, ghost, up, all at 7. So really difficult phrase here, but it sounds something like this at a really slow speed. So when we're working on it, really important to get comfortable with those stretches. It'll hurt this part of the hand. Shake it out, take breaks. It's like yoga for the fingers. Then we go on to measure 21. It's going to go somewhere very familiar and comfortable. We're going to go back to our 0, 4, 0, 7, which is our index here on the 4th fret of the C string, pinky finger here on 7 of the A. And we're going to strum through that, followed by miss, ghost note, miss, down, miss, ghost, up, ghost, up, ghost, miss, down, miss, ghost, up. So I'd say straightforward pattern, but they're very difficult if you haven't worked on ghost note patterns before. But it's one that's very common to create that sort of sound. Now, a quick note as you're working through these. If you're unable to get the exact rhythm, that's okay. It's okay to not play the exact rhythm that's listed here. They're really more of creating a feel than they are you need to do these exact collection of notes. So when you're practicing, if you do something that sounds good but is a little bit different but fits, keep working on it. It's okay to then, learn the way that you're doing and then try to do the way that's written. kind of tinker with it. That's really how I learned these rhythms, was I was doing things that were similar and figure out what I was doing and how I could change it to be able to do these more complicated ones. Again, if you're really struggling with it, check out that course down below. So now measure 19, 20, and 21 are something like this, nice and slow, something like... And then it goes on to 22. We're going to play another rhythm here with this chord. We're going to go down, miss, down, miss, ghost. And then on this up strum, we're going to slide these down 2 frets. So we're at 0, 2, 0, 5, ghost note, come up to 3 and 6, ghost note, and then back up to 4 and 7. It's a nice little descending line. So it goes... And then after we do that up there, we're going to do another ghost note, followed by an up, down, up to finish that measure. So that whole measure is... And then we're going to go back to measure 23 here, and we're going to play back to that C chord. We're going to do a down, miss, down, miss, ghost, up, down, miss, down, miss. We're going to go all the way up to 10 again, down, miss. So that measure 23 is actually exactly the same as measure 19. So exactly identical. But then it gets a little different here at 24. So before we go to 24 though, just so that you can kind of hear it, here's measures 22 and 23, which are that stanza on the tab. It should be something like... And then as we go now into 24, which you see I'm getting all ready for, it goes back to that big stretch, 2, 2, 2, 9. But this time we're not going to strum a pattern here. We're just going to do a downstroke and let it ring. And then we're going to slide down to 7 and do another downstroke and let it ring. And from here it ends the song. And the ending is the same as the beginning. The ending is the same as the very first measure, just repeated 3 times, or kind of 4.5 or 3.5 times rather. So what does that mean? Well, we're going to go back to this. And we're going to do that 3 times. And then on the 4th time, we will play it. And we stop right after we play the 3 on the G, then we play the 0 on the A, and we stop it. So it's a very abrupt stop. Sounds something like this when done together. First repeat. And we're on the 3rd time for that sort of sound. And there you have it. There is Megalovania, one of the hardest arrangements I've ever done here on this channel. If you're still watching this video and following along, awesome work. I will be honest, this arrangement took a lot longer than some others for me to just be able to play it. It's a hard song, but I will say it was a lot of fun to work on. I found myself just playing it and kind of hearing the song in my head. It really pushed me as a player, and it's important for you guys to work on songs that you enjoy that push you as players. So I hope this song can hopefully be one of those, in another arrow in your quiver, so to speak. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Again, be sure to check out my Patreon page where you can download this tab completely for free, as well as many other tabs for all the different lessons I do here on YouTube. Every month we do a song tutorial vote based on suggestions of the patrons over on that site. So please check it out if you haven't already. I'll look forward to seeing you guys next time for the next video, and I'm going to go play some Undertale now on my Switch. Take it easy. Thanks so much.